welcome back to the Casual Reader Book Club. And today we're going to be talking about the next part of Turn of the Key. I think it's getting very scary.
Yeah, there was some part of this section that was pretty scary. Creaking foot, I'm someone that I can't stand to hear noise when I'm trying to sleep. Like little tiny noises that you wonder what the heck it is. It's a creaking floorboard. It's a scuffle. Is it a bug? Is it a mouse? Is it a burglar? That kind of stuff drives me absolutely bat crap crazy.
Well, and we see our nanny becoming more and more and more sleep deprived.
Mm-hmm.
Which I believe, because I have not read to the end of this book, so I truly don't know. I believe that is setting her up for some really bad judgment. Anytime you are running on entirely lack of sleep, you can't function that well. And I truly feel like in this particular circumstance, it's beginning to set her up for some really bad decision making. She spent the entire night, the most recent night in the book, sitting in a chair wrapped in a duvet, listening to floorboards creak above her head, not knowing what it was. And then, of course, we see her during the day, the next day, fall asleep when she's putting the baby down for a nap. And she actually fears that she has slept through school pickup because she was sleeping so hard during the day. And that's never a safe thing when you have a little one in the house.
Mm-hmm. We
see that in the news a lot. I was asleep and my kid got out. So I'm like, I'm not sure this is a...
So what'd you think about Rhiannon, the teenager?
Oh, I'm not liking her at all. I think she's a little smarty pants. When she picked her up, well, when she was dropped off with her cases, she just basically left the nanny to be her fetch and go person.
Mm-hmm.
And she treats her very disrespectfully and more like, I don't even know.
It's the 19th century?
Yeah. More like she grew up in an age where everybody had a body servant.
Mm-hmm.
And this person happens to be hers. And I thought, it's not very nice. But in addition to that, it's not very practical. You just don't. No wonder they can't keep a nanny.
Why do you think she's like that?
I am unsure at this point because we have not seen at this point in the book enough of her to know anything about her. There is a large age difference between her and her siblings,
mm-hmm.
So I wonder if there's a different parent, or are the two parents in the book her parents as well? Does she have a different mother? I don't know. There is something that makes her feel separated from that family. She did not really bother too much with her siblings. And at that age, sometimes they don't. But usually, you would at least put up a front of popping by and looking in on them or something. And she just really kind of got home, had the nanny bring in her things, and informed the nanny that she was going to spend some time at a friend's house.
Mm-hmm. After she made food. She had a sandwich or something.
She had a sandwich or something, and she was...
By the way, you need to put mayonnaise on the list.
Mm-hmm. And my thought is, you can write, you're 12, you know how to work happy. You put it on the list. Which would have been a temptation, because I don't think the nanny knows how to work happy very well. I wouldn't want to know how to work happy.
I thought she was 14.
And then she might be 14.
She's a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I don't know why 12 stuck on my head, but...
She's older than that, which is
a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it's going to be a bigger problem because when her mom asked where she was, because the nanny talked to her mom about it, and her mom gave permission. And she even told the mom that the friend's brother was picking her up. And I'm like, that doesn't set off alarm bells in your head? 14-year-old girl, 17, 18-year-old boy, maybe even a little bit older than that. That's alarm bells all over.
Yeah, I mean, first time I read this, I was like, that's just immediately okay. Do you already know these people? Do you know that the parents are going to be home? What kind of looking over? I mean, yeah, you don't need a babysitter, but you need somebody to keep an eye on kids that age, because that's when they get in real trouble, like with lifelong consequences kind of trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. And that's, I guess, what made me start thinking, is it possible that maybe the mother isn't as attached to her for some reason?
Well, as a point of interest, we've said this is a modern retelling of The Turn of the Screw, although a lot of things have changed. But some of the basic elements of The Turn of the Screw is you have a nanny who is put in this isolated area with a child to look after a little girl. There's a brother, but he is at boarding school. Close in age, but a little bit older, but he's not too far off from the little girl. She is hired by somebody who plans to be completely absent guardian. It's like, I'm hiring you to take care of everything. I have no intention of being involved. And she gets there, and it's her and the housekeeper, basically, who are looking after these children. And, well, this little girl start off with. And the little girl says things that make her feel that there's been something happened that wasn't right. And she thinks it has to do with the former groundskeeper, which in this instance could be Jack, and a former, I don't know if it was the former nanny, I think, that there had been possibly some inappropriate relationship there. But anyway, the other important key thing is that in the middle of the story, the little boy gets kicked out of boarding school for some reason. And apparently he's had a history of this. And he comes home, and he seems on the surface to be kind of a little angelic. But after he gets there, everything starts going awry. So I think these are some of the key parallels to kind of keep in mind when we're looking at this book.
Well, and I had wondered, too, if the girl, the older sister who just came back, because she knows how to work Happy very well,
Mm-hmm.
I wondered if she is actually the one causing the doorbell to ring, causing the lights to come on in the middle of the night and the music to come on in the middle of the night. Because if you have a sleep-deprived nanny, she's not going to be truly cognizant of what you're going to be doing, and you would have pretty much free reign of the house, in my opinion only. So I began to get concerned when she has gone 3 days mostly without sleep,
Mm-hmm.
because you start making serious mistakes at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think of Jack at this point?
I think he's okay. He seems to be very helpful. When she requested that he try to open her closet door, he came back immediately, as soon as he could. Realistically, he took the dogs with him,
Mm-hmm. That was a big thing.
which was a big help to her. He did help open that area, and he did show her what was there, and it is entirely creepy. I don't even know why you would design, if you did a full redo of the house, why would you leave something like that there?
Maybe it's symbolic of how people try to lightly plaster over the past and move over it and not deal with it, and it comes back to bite you.
I don't know, but it seems like for people who are redoing a home, making it more modern, making it more friendly to the environment and all that stuff and all this efficiency, you would have noticed there was a terrible draft back there.
Yeah.
That was allowing heat and air to escape.
Yeah.
And that it was entirely creepy.
Very much so.
And the window was standing wide open, so that's allowing moisture and stuff to get into your home. I mean, beyond the fact that it was just really creepy. And there was a dead bird in there. That is just not sanitary. It's really gross.
Yeah, definitely moisture. We're talking about Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of rain.
A lot of rain, a lot of cold.
Well, and the Highlands, a lot of snow, too. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So it's just not practical to close up something like that. And, of course, my mind went immediately to the father of the child that died previously there at that location and how he probably would have walked the floors up there because it looks like it was part of the little girl's room. At least part of it had been.
And there was a doll.
And there
doll
was
head.
There was a lot of doll parts.
Yeah.
And, after a long time, if they have rag bodies, they would disintegrate.
Yeah,
and you
they
would have just the porcelain left.
Yeah.
And the dead bird in the rocking chair. Well, I mean, the dead bird was not in the rocking chair, and the rocking chair. So, and I keep thinking, was it the wind causing the rocking chair to rock? Which was the noise that she was hearing? Was it not? But when you're sleep deprived, you can't make good decisions.
No, you can't.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next part.
And we will finish next week.
And we will finish next week, and we will be back with you next week to give our thoughts on what happens next in The Turn of the Key.